Let's jump in today, and I'm going to talk about something that you guys are going to love today. It's going to be awesome. We're going to start with a word that you are already dreading because it's tomorrow. Who's looking forward to Monday, y'all? Okay, there's a few people that actually love their jobs. That's great, and we all hate you. No, but let's just talk about Monday for a second. I know for most of us in the room, when you talk about Monday, you start immediately going, not yet, because we're not even halfway through Sunday, and I don't really want to talk about Monday, because Monday means some stress and some frustration, and who you're going to work with, and what you're going to be working on, and man, we're just doing this new project thing, and all the things, right? Monday brings up, and some of you will actually, you're the kind of person that you're going to stay up as late as you possibly can on Sunday tonight. You'll read, you'll watch movies, you stay up late because you think it's going to delay Monday getting here. Like you just keep thinking like, oh man, it won't be Monday. If I stay up later, it just won't be Monday, right? Or some of you're thinking about Monday and you're already like, I need a nap and I'm going to bed at 7 p.m. Like I don't know how you do it, but you somehow work in a nap and go to bed early because you're dreading the exhaustion that Monday represents for you, right? After being free for the weekend to kind of explore and do fun things with the family or just kind of like do some hobbies and then going back to the grind of Monday, which is why we all love looking forward to vacation, right? Which is why you spend all year long planning and saving so you can just get away from work for a week. So you don't have to think about, because this Monday we're not waking up to go to work. This Monday we're waking up and we're going to go for a hike. This Monday we're going to Disney. This Monday, like you think about vacation all year long to get to the thing, to do the thing, right? Because of Monday and what it represents for us. And here's what I want you guys to realize, that there's a Monday after every vacation. You know this. And you still got to come back to Monday, which is why I want to do this series. We're starting today. It's just 2 parts, but today and next week we'll do Thank God It's Monday. Because I want to shift your perspective, if I can, for the next 2 weeks. For you to start thinking about Monday in a completely different way. To think about your Monday through Friday or your Tuesday through Saturday, whatever it is your work week is. Hey, for those of you who are parents at home and you think, well, yeah, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking about, let's just talk about all of you in the room. If you're retired, if you're a student, if your work that drains you, exhausts you, and makes you frustrated and stressed, and you don't want to go do it, whatever that work is, changing a diaper, getting up tomorrow morning and having to make somebody else's coffee at the coffee plate, whatever it is that you dread tomorrow, I want to shift your perspective so that you can, by the end of the series, maybe start thanking God that it's Monday. So let's define work really quickly. Work is just, when I'm talking about it, work is any purposeful or meaningful activity. So that's all of you in the room. I don't care. I don't know what you do, but your work is purposeful and meaningful. And it doesn't feel like that, though, does it? See, that's the issue I'm going to have with you, because all of you are like, there's no way my work is meaningful and purposeful. I know what my job is. You don't know what it is I do during the week. So let me just throw some stats at you real quick. So Gallup in 2024 did a study on work and the engagement of American workers. 23% of you guys in the room are fully engaged at your job place based on the responses. 23%. That means 77% of you are in one of 2 categories. You're in the category of, my job's okay. Or you're in the attitude of, I'm actively looking for a different job because this one sucks. That's where you are. Just think about that for a second. Think about that, how that affects your understanding of what tomorrow on Monday is going to be like when you go to the workplace. Think about how that attitude is affecting your work attitude. Think about how that kind of work attitude affects your family life at home, because if you spent all day trying to be like, with my job, what are you going to do when you get home? You're going to be drained, frustrated, exhausted, and maybe not give your best to your family when you get home. Maybe not give your best to your friends. It's going to keep you from doing the things that actually bring you joy because you're so exhausted, I don't even feel like doing it anymore because my job is awful, right? The problem is you've missed what is so important and purposeful and meaningful about your work. And I want to switch that. I want to flip it around, because I know there are 3 things in your mind right now. Well, I thought of 3 things that I think most of you are like, well, I don't have my dream job yet. That's why I don't like my job. Well, hey, let's talk about this for a second. There seems to be in our culture this idea that you're going to someday find the perfect job, that there's no stress, you never have to do anything you don't like, and all the people you work with will be wonderful and they'll want you to do your best. Guys, that is not going to happen. I haven't found it yet. There you go. What I'm saying, here's what I want. This culture idea that there's a dream job out there, I just want you to remember. Work is still work, okay? There's the hard things to do. And we're going to talk about this in a second, but remember, part of what your work is to solve some problems around you. The problem is none of us want to solve those problems. We just want those problems to be fixed and just my job to be easy, right? So this dream job mentality is actually not a great way to think about your work. Here's another one. I know some of you are on this early retirement kick, and boy, I am so past the halfway point in my career. I'm so close to retirement. It's just getting like, on weekends, I feel like, oh, this is what retirement would be. That's what I think anyway. But here's what I know about early retirement. I was reading some studies this week that early retirement has actually been the majority of folks who early retire while they've made their wealth and they've got enough to last socially, mentally, physically, and emotionally, they decline quickly. Those of you who are in early retirement, you might want to go find a job. What they're finding is early retirement folks do not do well by the majority. Now, you may do great with it and you're fine, and you're in the minority. But for most people, the work and the purposeful, meaningful activity means something to your own health. And here's the last one. I know most of you in the room, you are working for the weekend, right? You come to work because you get a paycheck. Keep your mouth shut. Do the work. Make sure the supervisor doesn't come down to your place. You do your own thing. Y'all do your own thing. I'm leaving on Friday early if I can. And believe me, I'm going to leave you with all the work if I can at 3 o'clock on Friday because I'm getting out and my weekend's mine. It's mine. I'll go back to my job on Monday. We do that, right? Isn't it funny how in American culture those three kind of ideas exist about work? It's like most of the time we treat work as if it should be avoided. As if there's something wrong with work, as if work is a bad thing and it's preventing us from really living life well, as if it's something that we're not supposed to be doing and it's a waste of our time, as if there's something else out there better to do. And I'm not saying you have to love work so much you should stay there all the time. That's not what I'm saying. Don't hear me say that. Don't be like, see, Jarrod told me I could work till midnight, it's fine. No, don't do that. What I'm saying is maybe, just maybe, we have flipped something in the wrong way we view work. In fact, I want to help you define work in a new way because I believe this is true. How we define work will define how we work. And I think most of you in this room who think of your job as less than, who don't find meaning and purpose in it, who maybe think you're not quite at your dream job, I bet you don't bring your best to your work, do you? You don't bring your full engagement. You don't bring your full personality. You don't bring your full talents. You don't bring your full energy. In fact, throughout the week, you're kind of like, it's just work. And you don't even fully engage in it. Why? Because you don't really understand how important how you define work will actually define how you come to work. And what I'd love for you to know is that God did not create you or your work to be a drudgery or to be frustrating or to be something that's unfulfilling. He designed you and He designed work for your benefit and for the benefit of the people around you. So what if we could flip and say tomorrow, thank God, it's Monday. Let me show you some things because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, yeah, but wait a minute, Jarrod. In Genesis chapter 3, it said work is cursed. Okay, let's read it. All right, let's talk about how work is cursed. Cursed is the ground because of you. Through painful toil, you will eat food from it all the days of your life. This is wonderful. Thank you, Jarrod, for reading this. It will produce thorns and thistles. Anybody know what a thistle is? One person. Exactly. It must not be good. Okay? Thorns and thistles for you, and you will eat the plants of the field. What else? What else is bad? By the sweat of your brow, you will eat your food until you return to the ground. Since from it you were taken, for dust you are, and to dust you will return. See, Jarrod, I told you work is bad. Work is terrible. Work is awful. It's been cursed. There's nothing. It's just work. Work is work. It's what it is. You got to sweat to get it. You got to make a living. Yes, it has been cursed, but this is not how work began. We messed up work with our sin. Adam and Eve sinned, and this was the consequence of their sin because their sin broke the way the world was supposed to work. You want to look at the beginning of work? Anybody interested? Nobody? Too bad. You got to do it anyway. All right, yeah, here we go. The beginning of work. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1 and look at where work begins. So God has been creating all the things in the world. And the first day he says, let there be light, and there was light. And he gets done with the first day and he goes, that was pretty good. And day 2, he creates some more stuff and he goes, yeah, you know what? That was pretty good work today. Day 3, he didn't get tired and go, eh. On third day, he created some stuff and he's like, man, that's good too. By day 6, we get to this point, and every single day, every single time God does work, he gets done at the end of the day and goes, man, that was good work. He didn't phone it in. Not one day of the week did he phone it in. So God created mankind in his own, read it, image. In the image of God, he created them, male and female, he created them. Every single one of you. Every single person who's ever lived was created in the image of God. You know what the word image means? It means image. I know. It just literally means you are his representative. You're not God, but he created you to represent himself. He created you in a way that you could go and do things and people would look at you and go, wow, there must be a God. Because you're created in his image to be like him and to do things like him so that when other people were around you, they'd be like, oh my gosh, there is a God. Because of how this person works and lives in this world, there must be something greater and bigger. You are there to point other people back to him, the creator. That's it. So how God works is how you should be working. What God sees as valuable in his work, you should find valuable in your work. So you don't get, listen, if you're a follower of Jesus here today, you don't get the excuse of, because here's what I know about every one of you. None of you wants to go to the doctor this week and have your doctor show up and he's like, yeah, I'm going to replace your hip. I'll do a pretty good job. None of you wants to hand your kids off to a school system where all the teachers are like, I kind of like kids. I kind of care if they get an education. None of you wants to pay for a service in town. You don't want to, listen, I go to my favorite coffee shop. I don't want to go there and have the people making my coffee look at me and be like, it's pretty good today. And now here's what I know about all of you too. You don't want to come here on Sundays and have the band and whoever's up here on stage and whoever's taking your kids and who are the people out in the house waving at you just be like, we think it's okay to be here today. You don't want that, right? Nobody wants to be around people who are, I like my job okay. Nobody wants that. And I bet you don't want to be that kind of person. Because you know why? You were created in the image of God. You have something in you that wants to actually bring good to this world. Let me show you the flip side of this. This is why Genesis to me is so powerful. As a person who believes in the Bible and what it says about what God did throughout history and what it says about Jesus. Because there are other creation stories that were written down at about the same time as the stories we read from Genesis. I'm going to show you one. One of them is called the Enuma Elish. It come out of Mesopotamia, very close, area to where the Jews were living. And this creation story is about the god Marduk, who is the chief of all gods. And Marduk creates mankind. And here's what it says about Marduk creating mankind. Let me show you the difference. I will establish a savage. Man shall be his name. Verily, savage man I will create. I know some of you married a person who's a savage, but that's not what we're all of us, right? Savage man. Now, you're created to be a savage under Marduk's story. Watch what he says about how man's work is supposed to work. He shall be charged with the service of the gods, that the gods might be at ease. And you're like, that sounds like my job, right? Because here's what we know about this time period in these creation stories. The people who were in the rulers of that area, the kings and queens, they were like gods. And see, so they told a story that would reinforce everybody serving them. So listen, God created you to be my slaves, to make me happy. And that's just your place in the world. You were created to be a slave, and you're supposed to do for me what's good for me, and you're to put me at ease. Isn't it interesting to go back and read Genesis now through the frame of like, what were they doing? Every person? Wait, not just the kings and queens are in the image of God. No, not just the kings and queens. Every single person on this earth created in the image of God. That's a very different kind of creation story. It changes the way you think about your work too. Because in the next verse in Genesis, once we know we're created in the image of God, what does that mean about how we're supposed to work? Well, here's what God says for those of us who are image bearers, which is everybody in the room. Go to that next verse. Oh, yeah, go to the next verse. See, they're so good back there. God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number. fill the earth and subdue it. That word subdue just means that you take control of it. You make it work better. And then he says this, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the ground. That word rule is a kingly word. It means to rule and to reign as a king over a kingdom. Here's what he says to every single person he created in his image. You are to go fill this world up, rule over it, subdue it, put it under your rule and your reign, and rule and reign of it just like I would if I were there. For all of us. Which means tomorrow morning when you go to work, whatever it is you are to do, you are ruling and reigning as an image of God over a portion of his creation. You are, in essence, a king or a queen of your domain. And you're like, Jarrod, I literally change diapers all day long as a parent. Guess what? You are caring for a precious life that God gave. And yes, I know waking up at 3 a.m. is terrible. It turns your hair gray, right? But this is your job. And you can do it as an image of God. And some of you go and I just clean places. I just clean houses. I just clean office buildings. I'm just a cleaner. Listen, you are called to make those workspaces and home spaces comfortable and welcoming to the people who work and live there. Your calling is great. You put things in order for people. All I do is take care of preschoolers. You provide a safe place for people to send their kids so they can go to do their jobs. But you provide a safe place and we don't have to worry about our kids anymore because you have them and you care for them and you love them and you help them learn some things while they're there. All I do is enter data in a spreadsheet. You should see how boring my job is. Guys, if you enter numbers in a spreadsheet, I guarantee you it's important for somebody because like me, I don't know where anything is. And for you to put it in a spreadsheet so I can make sense of it means a lot to me. All I do, I sit around and I just design things. I'm just a designer. I mean, it's not really practical. If you design artwork that's beautiful and you inspire people with it, you are doing great work. Here's the picture I want you to get of yourself and your work, no matter what it is you're going to do. God has placed in you this responsibility to help him, partner with him to rule the world. This is the big bottom line for you. The work of the image of God, which is you, is to partner with God for the thriving of the world. He put us in place as his partners in making this world thrive. This is why we talk about being for your neighbors. Be for the people you work with tomorrow. Be for the people you serve tomorrow. If you're in a service industry, be for the work, be for this community by doing great work and excellent work and bringing your best self to your work. Why? Because it's who you are. It's who God created you to be. You are the person who brings to reality this world of thriving that God put in place. And I know what you're saying. But Jarrod, the world is broken. Sin has broken it. There is curse on the world. Work isn't always great. I get it. This is why those of us who are Jesus followers, listen, this is why it's so important. Jesus didn't just come to redeem one aspect of life. He came to redeem it all. His death and resurrection redeemed everything back to the way God designed it from the beginning. So if work got broken by sin, what do you think Jesus' death and resurrection, when he took away the consequences of sin and gave us grace and freedom, what do you think that does for our new way of working? Let me show you in Romans what Paul says about it. He said, for if by trespass of one man, Adam, death reigned, you notice this word reigned? Same idea as ruling over something, right? If Adam's sin and the trespass, death reigned through that one man, how much more will those who receive God's abundant provision of grace and of the gift of righteousness reign in life through the one man, Jesus Christ? Here's what Paul says. Death may be reigning over your world, but when you accept Jesus' gift of grace and now righteousness through his death and resurrection, you know what you have access to again? You can reign in life again, which means if you're a follower of Jesus and you go to work tomorrow No matter what it is. I don't care if you're digging ditches. I don't care if you're just literally putting a new thing on a machine and you're standing in a line. You work at a factory. I don't care if you're building houses. I don't care if you're teaching people. I don't care if you're caring for people in a hospital. I don't know what it is you do. Whatever it is you do, you can do it knowing that your work is meaningful and purposeful. Because what you do is helping this world thrive. And if you're helping this world thrive, you're doing the work that God created you to do. Now, here's the difference I want you to see. Most of you are going to go to work tomorrow. You're going to go right back to living in Marduk's world. You're going to think your whole world is about some guy at the top, and he's my boss, and I've just got to work for him, and I'm just going to make a paycheck, and all I do is I just do the work for the man. And you're going to go back and live in Marduk's world. Do you have a choice, though? You don't have to live in that creation story. In fact, it's not even a real creation story. It's a false one. The real one is that you were created by God who cares enough about you to give you part of his image. And you are my image, and you have a purposeful, meaningful activity. And whatever it is you do and work, it is purposeful and meaningful to me. And because it's purposeful and meaningful to me, I'm going to bless you and the people around you, because when you're doing things my way, man, I just love being around people that do things the way I asked them to do it, the way I've created them to do it. And you will find that even your little job that you don't think means anything now has eternal significance. And not because you're doing a Bible study. Talk about your faith with the coworkers when you get a chance and look for ways to do it. But listen, your excellent work makes your heavenly Father happy, because that's what he created you to do. He created you to make this world thrive under his leadership. Don't think you're a king or queen for your own kingdom. Don't live in Marduk's world. Don't work your way up and be like, now that I'm the boss, we can do what I want to do. I'm a king of my own domain. God put me in place. I'm going to be the king. I'm going to make everybody else my slaves. That's not God's creation story either. That's not what he said. Every single person in this room is the image of God, no matter what they do. So, what's the challenge this week, Jarrod? You only have to do this one day this week, because the challenge is so simple, so straightforward. You're going to look at me and be like, Jarrod, that's not even a challenge. Okay, let's see. Just say tomorrow morning, wake up and say, thank you, God, for Monday. And mean it. I gotcha. Right? Here's the trick. Can you wake up tomorrow knowing that all the frustration still exists where you go? All the people are still there. Oh, gosh, that person. All the things are still there. But to wake up and go, God, thank you for inviting me into purposeful, meaningful activity. God, thank you for inviting me into a partnership with you where I get to work alongside you in what I do. It's not my dream job yet, but I'm going to bring my best to this job, in this place, right now. Because I know if I do that, then I know I'll enjoy my work, because it's the work you would be doing if you were here with me. Can you find a way to do that? Can you find a way to change the narrative of your work story so that you are not trapped in some job? Instead, you are doing the work that you do for a greater purpose than just the thing that you do. Is there something else that could flip your mind? Let me tell you a quick story. I was having coffee with a guy this week. He had to quit his job back in December. He's got a very terrible cancer, and he was going to have to just quit, and he's not been working since. And I sat down with him for coffee just to kind of catch up with him. And he started telling me a little bit about his life so far and and he just looked at me and he's like, I would like to be able to serve on Sundays. He was working with students here, and he just hadn't been able to. He just feels too tired. He hadn't been able to do it. And he's like, I just don't know that I have any purpose here. And I was like, hey, listen, you have purpose here. You're still here. God made you in his image. You still have purpose here. And then he started talking about how he used to, in his work, he became top dog at his workplace. I mean, he was at the top of his game. And he talked about in his 30s, he got to the top of his game, and he said, I was making so much money. Other people were hiring me as a consultant to do this gig for other places and showing them how to treat their employees and showing them how to do this. He said, I got the big head. He said, I had a terrible family life, terrible home life, but I was killing it at work. Man, work was great. I just didn't want to go home. And he said at some point, God finally got a hold of me. And he said, I went back down. He said, I actually downgraded. And I went back to the beginning where I started in my job, and he said, I've never left there. That's the job I've been with. And he said, I found so much fulfillment in just helping the next generation of people working this job to understand how to do it well and to do it healthfully. I said, are you kidding me? You don't think you have purpose? You have a whole generation of people you've been investing in. You can still invest in those same guys that you were working with. Do you realize they would love a phone call from you? Do you realize they would love a text message from you? They're 30 years behind you. They think they want to get to where you were, and you downgraded to be with them. And do you understand the encouragement you could drive? Listen, I don't care who you are or what your circumstance is. Your work is important. And the way you work with the people you work with is important. Would you wake up tomorrow and thank God that you get to partner with Him in the lives of people around you, even if it's just the person standing next to you in the line, even if it's the person that you just see for a few seconds? There is an impact to me, but God can use you in your workplace, wherever you are, in whatever you do, no matter what, because you are the image of God. Your work is meaningful, it is purposeful, and if you don't do it, you miss out on seeing God at work in your workplace. Let me pray for you. God in heaven, would you help us to see this vision of work, and would you help us to see how you've asked us to partner with you in it? And God, that just doing good work with the people that we work with tomorrow is really bringing you to bear on this world, that we are trying to help partner with you in wherever we work. Would you help us to see it as a true partnership, that whatever we do it with you standing with us beside us? And so, God, help us to bring our best selves to work. Help us to bring our best energy to work. Help us to bring our best excellence to work so that you can do what you can only do and affect people's lives. And God, thank you for Jesus, who allowed us to redeem all of things, including our work, that it doesn't have to be cursed anymore, that we can work within your kingdom for the thriving of this world and have blessing and joy in it. In your son's name I pray it. Amen.